Welcome to Gold Star Classroom, the podcast where our panelists go back to school. We'll grade them on their answers to a variety of general knowledge and trivia questions. They don't know what we're going to ask, and we don't know what they're going to say. The student with the highest grade at the end of the class will win the coveted classroom prize, the Golden Banana. I'm your host and headmaster, Professor Jerry Jaffe. Welcome to today's episode of Gold Star Classroom, and it is my pleasure to introduce today's students. Sitting directly across from me is a regular at the Broadway Comedy Club, Melissa Stakowski.
Hi.
Hi, Melissa.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming to class today.
My pleasure.
And sitting on my right is a regular at the Comedy Cellar in Austintown, Jesse Huber.
What's up? How you doing?
Nothing. What's up with you?
I'm ready to go. Let's do this. I'm excited.
I hope so. You are dressed for success today, my friend.
I am. I'm like
I have to say.
Dobach and all.
Nothing is better than visual humor on a podcast.
That was the idea.
And sitting on my left is a regular fixture at MTV, Sean Lynch.
What's going on, Jerry?
Nothing. Thanks for coming to class again today.
Oh man, I love this, man. I'm raring to go for the Golden Banana.
Sean has been in class before. Have you ever won the Golden Banana before?
Yeah, I actually won it the first time at Lake Erie.
Oh, well, we have a defending Golden Banana champion.
Which I'd love to mention is the Golden Banana is the name of the only gay bar in Boston, which I think is amazing.
Well, you get 5 points for knowing that.
Oh, come on, no fair.
All right.
Suck up.
Well, welcome to today's class. As your teacher, I will be quizzing you on questions across the breadth and width of human knowledge. And as any good teacher would do, I'll be grading your answers. And the student with the highest grade at the end of today's class will win the coveted classroom prize, the aforementioned Golden Banana.
Yeah, baby.
All right. Are you ready for your first question?
Yes.
Our first question comes from the realm of film history. And I have in mind a very famous actor. I will say famous enough that you all know the name. But rather than tell you the name, I'm going to ask you obscure questions about this person until such time as you figure out who this person is. First of all, this person is, as a young man, did go to Yale. And Yale, of course, has a famous acting school in it. Mm-hmm. But he did not go as a theater major. He went as an art historian.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I'm just going to say
Tommy
Tom
Lee
Hanks,
Jones?
right?
He was Al Gore's roommate. Yeah.
Pauly Shore, hands down, all the way. Definitely has to be Pauly Shore.
I think Pauly Shore may have gone to Yale in a movie.
Oh, in a movie, all
I'm
right.
trying to imagine that movie.
Dude on campus.
Dude on campus.
Oh, my God.
In fact, later in life, after this actor was a well-known Hollywood commodity, he published a book on art with the lovely title, I Like What I Know.
Why does it sound like James Franco for some
Yeah.
reason?
James Franco was known as an art lover.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
he's a Colombian
And he
guy,
just went to,
man.
yeah,
Colombian, all right,
just
man.
go for no reason.
Different
Still
school.
stumped.
Yeah.
This will give you a little bit of a time frame, if this helps you. For about 10 years, from the 62 to 71, this person had a signature collection of art sold at Sears. Like reprints of famous works of art that he supposedly chose and like endorsed as great works of art. So it was like his signature collection of great artists.
Man, this is tough.
Yeah.
I'm just, I'm going to rattle off a few names.
Do it.
Burt Reynolds.
Under, this will give you another little era.
Did he even go to college?
That's
Yeah.
what we did.
Under the Dwight D. Eisenhower administration, this actor was in fact appointed to the Indian Arts and Crafts Board.
Billy Jack?
Nobody should have been. In addition to being an art connoisseur, this person was known as a chef, and in fact also had a TV cookery show, whose name I cannot tell you because it has the actor's name in the name of the cookery show.
Wow, man.
We got somebody who's cooked, endorsed art, went to
Newman?
Yale.
No Paul Newman, although Paul Newman also has a connection to Boston, not, however, the Golden Banana Bar, I assume.
Dustin Hoffman.
This person has over 100 film appearances.
Ah.
Wes Studi?
No. And His grandfather, which is going back to the 19th century, was a chemist who actually invented baking soda.
Okay.
You can't get weirder trivia than that.
Yeah.
That's very
I'm digging
interesting.
deep there.
Wow.
You think when he was
I
in the
have no
bars
idea.
as an actor, like trying to get famous, he's like, my grandfather made baking soda.
My grandfather,
So I got that
the inventor
going
of
for
baking
it. Yeah.
soda, would be happy.
That's like a hipster thing.
I'm kind of like the baking soda prince, the heir to this thing.
Yes.
Wow, man.
Oh man.
It's gonna be an old cat like Hume Cronin,
As an
Wilford
art-
Brimley.
As an art history major, this actor spent some time in London studying art, and his first significant acting role was in a play in London because they needed someone who could speak fluent German. And
Whoa, okay.
as a young intellectual, he was fluent in German.
Ernest Borgnine.
Oh no, but what a great actor! 5 points for just mentioning Ernest Borgnine. I have to give you that.
Let's see.
Listen, we gotta come up with something.
Harry Potter.
Sean's killing us here.
We got
No.
the.
I feel like I
there's-
can't even name any of the old actors that Sean even knows about.
I feel like we're the burnt out students.
Well, that's
Like-
what I-
Totally, I'm the stoner.
I
in
thought
class.
that Sean would have an advantage with this, but he hasn't gotten there yet.
I know.
So you
Okay.
all can get him at the post.
All right.
After returning to New York, this actor acted for a time with Orson Welles' famous Mercury Theater Company.
Oh, okay.
His first
everything
film
about that.
appearance was in 1933. I'll tell you the name of the film because no one here has watched it or seen it. The Thief and the Cobbler.
It's my favorite movie.
All right, get Netflix
No, that
on
was just
right
your,
now.
That was just your last two boyfriends.
That's what I know, right? Last night's any indication.
I'm going to give you the first clue that probably means anything, and it probably still does not mean anything.
All right.
His first major film where he was like recognized in a major role and people said, here's a young actor of note, was a 1944 film called Laura.
All right, as
Mitchum.
probably the youngest guy in the room, I'm just gonna take a weird guess.
Weird guess.
Boris Karloff.
No, but this person
it's not.
appeared in a film with Boris Karloff in 1939.
So he was
That
in a
pretty
Frankenstein movie, I think.
The film
Lon
in que-
Chaney.
The film in question was The Tower of London, a
Oh, never mind.
1939 Boris Karloff production.
Okay, come on. Can do this.
Not Lon Chaney. In the 1960s, this actor starred in a number. This is going to give it away, by the way, so get ready to race to the finish.
All right.
Someone's about to get a lot of points.
All right.
A number of low-budget successes with Roger Corman.
Robert Vaughn.
No! Boo!
Ah.
Starting with 1960s House of Usher.
Vincent Price.
We have a winner!
Wow.
Yes.
A plus Jesse Huber.
Wow.
All right.
Well done, sir. Respect.
He is most known now and had his most sort of commercial success with these Edgar Allan Poe adaptations.
Oh yeah, and Thriller.
Well, I was going to ask you about Thriller when we got to it. He performed the sinister monologue in Thriller, both on the album and then that was used in the music video as well. Do you know what year that actually was?
1983.
So close.
84.
2.
82.
1982. In 1982, he did his last two major pieces of work. He was born in 1911, by the way.
Wow.
Died in 1993.
Yeah, his last film was Edward Scissorhands.
His last major film was Edward Scissorhands. That is correct. And in 1982, he had the Thriller appearance and related to Edward Scissorhands. He was now famously in Tim Burton's short film called Vincent, which was the film that put Tim Burton sort of on the map
Disney,
of an up-and-coming young director. He did die in 1993 at the age of 82. Anyone know what the man died of?
Cocaine.
Tuberculosis.
His parachute didn't open. His opponent's kung fu was stronger.
My kung fu is
Crushed
stronger.
under a series of paintings. He ironically spent his life collecting.
The irony.
One may say he did not survive this brush of death.
Damn you, Sears.
He was in over 100 films, although he never won any major acting awards,
Oh, really?
which in retrospect seems somehow unfair.
Yeah.
I do want to point out one of his famous movies, at least for our Vincent Price fans. He was in a film which is sometimes pointed at being pre-Night of the Living Dead, the archetypical zombie
Last
movie.
Man on Earth.
10 points for Sean Lynch.
Yeah.
The Last Man on Earth, 1964. Actually an Italian production. And it was released, but I don't know if it was to any great sensation. And in that movie, they're not actually zombies.
Yeah, they're like ghouls or something.
Well, anyone else?
Demons.
Vampires. The zombie disease, the zombie apocalypse of that film is a kind of vampirism.
And that's based on Richard Matheson's I Am Legend, right?
Bonus points, gold star, Sean Lynch, I Am Legend.
Nerd. Nerd.
As Mark Riccadano would say, sir.
You damn nerd!
As a digressionary foot point, which is an expression I've invented and have been using on this podcast.
Why not?
There have been 2 other major adaptations of the book I Am Legend, besides The Last Man on Earth. Do you know the titles and stars?
Yes. I want to say 1972, The Omega Man with Charlton Heston.
Correct.
And 2000, was it that? 2008 or 2009, I Am Legend with Will Smith.
Correct. Ironically, Will Smith's I Am Legend is the only one of the 3 films that used the title of the original novel, which is ironic because it has the least to do with the novel.
Nothing.
Actually, the Vincent Price book is very close, or film is very close to the book.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Well, I bet that's way more Vincent Price trivia than you ever thought you'd get in one.
Also,
Jesse stole it away,
I can't
man.
believe
that was one of the movies I saw, The House of Usher. So I was like, I got it.
He was in so many great films,
Yes.
man. Vince, my favorite one, he did this real obscure one, like I want to say it was like 1979. He did that one about the Shakespearean actor who got a really bad review in a Shakespeare play, and he went around murdering all the Shakespeare critics.
It's called The Theater of Blood.
Yes! Yes!
He made 3 movies that were thematically related. The first was Dr. Phibes, which was also like a revenge story, but that was themed to Old Testament violence.
Okay.
So one of his victims was killed in a way reminiscent of deaths in the Old Testament. And then there was a sequel to that, Dr. Phibes, I think, Rises Again. And then the third film, which had nothing to do with that Dr. Phibes character, but it was the same director or same production company.
Yeah.
Theater of Blood.
Theater of Blood was amazing.
That's a fantastic film.
Well, thanks for the spoiler alerts. I guess I'm not seeing those movies
Oh,
now.
no, you want to see it. We haven't told you how it ends, and even if it did, it wouldn't matter.
Okay.
I'll tell you, here's an interesting trivia question. I was a big fan when I was a little kid. I used to watch those when I was a kid. It was pretty popular. They used to have those Saturday afternoon creature double features or those horror things. And one of the hosts of one of the local, and I want to say it's Ohio.
Big John
Saturday afternoon creature double feature shows was the great Ghoulardi,
Correct.
who was Paul Thomas Anderson's dad.
Correct.
Big Chuck
Who
Little John.
grew up in Lynn, Massachusetts, where I was born.
All right,
That's kind of neat.
That's a 6 degrees of separation
Right.
story. Right?
I'm into trivia.
I think that with the rise of movies like Saw, they've sort of peaked now, but the Dr. Phibes is ripe for a remake.
Absolutely.
And I think Theater of Blood would be a great Broadway musical.
That'd be pretty cool.
He'd camp it up,
Yes.
I'd be Nathan Lane in the Vincent Price. I got a bad review, I'm gonna murder you! Jersey blue hairs will flock to that shit.
As a educator, I've been advised that I sometimes rely too much on constructive criticism and I should be more positive with my students. So I have here in my hand a list of 101 random ways to praise a student. And just let me take this opportunity to tell you guys, hot dog.
All right. I love 1920s colloquialisms. Now you're on the trolley.
We're going to move into our next quiz question, which has to do with holidays. And in a format similar to the last, I'm going to tell you some obscure elements of a well-known holiday until you tell me what the holiday is, and then we find out what you know about this holiday. To begin with, this holiday is sometimes referred to in its most formal context as the Feast of Dedication. Does anyone know what holiday is also known? Or
as the Feast of Dedication.
And could you
Is that a
tell us-
Catholic
is it, yeah, is
thing?
it a Catholic thing? Is it
Well, that's
Oh,
part of the
Catholic.
mystery.
We use Catholicly. Catholicly?
Catholic-y
Catholic-
with a Y.
Catholic?
At least that's what they
The
told me
name-
the
Well,
12 years I went to Catholic school.
Same here, 12 years.
There's
We're all
gonna,
bad Catholics, man.
except for one of us
Is it
Oh.
Easter?
who is bad at something else, but not at the actual root word that the name of this holiday is derived from comes from a original language for the word to dedicate. So actually, the name of the holiday literally does mean to dedicate or a dedication.
Huh.
3% of the people listening to the sound of my voice right now already know the answer to this, probably. And since Catholics are a lot more than 3% of the general population, it's probably not a Catholic holiday.
Okay.
Ramadan?
Thanksgiving?
This holiday is derived from apocryphal portions of the Bible, by which I mean they are not canonized parts of the usual Bible you would utilize in the Judeo-Christian tradition.
Okay.
But there's like more books that are sometimes associated and are being debated about their authenticity. So that's called the apocryphal, or the apocryphal parts of the Bible, apocryphal books of the Bible. Anyway, this holiday is derived from one of them.
Passover?
No, but you're getting closer at least.
Oh,
You get
okay.
3
So
points.
it's Jewy.
Just add Y at the end of every religion.
This has to do with an 8-day miracle.
Hanukkah.
Oh, Hanukkah.
Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
10
yes,
points.
Yes.
All right.
Besides,
It is Jewy.
besides being called, as am I. Besides being called Hanukkah or the Feast of the Dedication, there is one other common nickname for Hanukkah, made famous by Adam Sandler.
8 Crazy Nights.
No, but that is Eight Crazy Nights is
Hanukkah?
about.
Hanukkah?
Nope. Well, that's funny though that you would say that. You said it first. One bonus point for you for saying something funny.
Feast of
Thank you.
Lights, yeah.
Correct.
The Feast of Lights.
10 points for Sean Lynch.
All right.
Festival of Lights. But you can say Feast of Lights
Yeah.
also. The Festival of Lights. Do you know the names of the apocryphal parts of the Bible that it's derived from?
Is that like Revelations?
Well, Revelations
those?
is sort of part of the Bible.
Oh, okay.
So the apocryphal parts were never
Oh, you're talking about the
incorporated.
Tom Hanks part of the Bible.
Correct. The Tom Hanks part may have been alluded to in any number of
The Book
Dan
of
Brown
Earl.
books.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
The Book of Mormon?
No. No.
Genesis. No, wait, no.
Well, let me ask you this. We talked about 8 crazy nights.
Yep.
What is the so-called miracle that lasted 8 crazy nights?
The oil in the lamps.
The oil in the lamps.
Yeah.
That is correct. Although as a teacher, I'm not going to task you. What was the oil in the lamp for?
To
Just light.
illuminate the cell? I don't know.
No. Were they in jail?
They were,
Everyone's in
yeah.
jail.
It was actually a massage parlor.
Drunk tank.
Oils.
Cash only.
Cash only.
8 rabbis walk into a drunk tank.
I really love the sound of this.
It was for the rededication of the classical temple.
Okay.
It was sort of ownership, control of it sort of changed hands over the centuries.
Okay.
And the name of the book that I was referring to also alludes to the name of one of the families involved in the story.
Okay.
There was like a Jewish revolution versus some sort of Roman incursions or policing. And then there was a family. Anyone know the family?
It's not Anne Frank.
It's not Anne Frank.
Not
But
Abraham.
the stories are similar now that you mention it.
Isaac.
Martin Luther King.
Isaac.
The Maccabees.
Oh,
The Maccabees. You've heard of the Maccabees. Hanukkah is probably known for 3 common things that even the Gentiles in the audience probably are aware of.
3.
Receiving iPads as gifts.
No, but
Celebrating Christmas on the side.
the idea of
Chinese food
Hanukkah
and
being
movies.
a gift-giving holiday
Yes.
is a 20th century innovation that is literally meant to give American Jews something similar to Christmas to celebrate in December.
Oh, okay.
If you go back like centuries, it was not a gift-giving holiday per se.
Just matzah and atonement, I guess.
Dreidels.
Dreidels, 10 points for Melissa.
Oh,
That is the holiday where
Dreidel,
Jewish children
dreidel,
play
dreidel.
dreidels.
I grew up with a lot of Jewish people.
Oh,
I'm a little Jewish.
Yes.
yeah.
I was wondering about your last name, but it's okay.
Yeah. No,
Dreidels. Not
Thank
matzah,
you.
actually, but there is another food that is associated with...
Okay, if not matzah, then...
Gefilte fish.
Well, you can eat gefilte fish every day
Right.
if you're a Jewish person.
Oh,
Actually,
man.
this particular food you might eat every day if you're a Jewish
What else?
person, too.
Matzah.
Borscht? I don't know.
What are the potato pancakes called?
Latkes.
Latkes with...
Latkes.
Sour cream? I don't know.
You can put sour cream on them. That's actually not a wrong answer. I'll give you 1 point for sour cream.
Okay.
But applesauce is the most common thing that you put on it.
Okay.
And my students listening at home will be glad to know that I have a great recipe for applesauce. When I make homemade latkes, I also make homemade applesauce.
Right on.
Not for religious reasons, it's just delicious.
Just fine.
Yes,
Yeah.
No,
it is just
fried.
delicious.
Pan-fried latkes.
Besides dreidels, latkes, and gift giving, there is one other food that is associated with
Manischewitz?
Hanukkah. No.
Oh, no.
Never realized.
Shout out random Jewish things for
Lox
a
and
while.
bagels.
So
It's
throw all the
this
Jewish things up
guy.
on the wall. See
Hey,
what's good.
is!
Ah,
I
my
ordered
God.
this scooped.
Oh, chocolate coins,
Oh yeah.
which is sometimes called chocolate gelt. Chocolate gelt, chocolate scoops.
I ordered this scoop. Oh my God.
Of
Yeah.
course, for bad Catholics,
Yes.
you now know as much about Hanukkah as most bad
Yes.
Jews do. So you're coming along in your spiritual upbringing.
Wow. Does it say anything in the Torah about being awful to waiters and waitresses?
I believe it does. There is a verse.
And so it was that Rivka made the waitress rent her garment.
You know,
Raise the rent.
Sean Lynch,
Yes.
the great wag and wit Oscar Wilde once said, "There is no sin except stupidity." So I'm glad that you came to our church today.
I'm trying to repent.
Sinners.
Get the backhand from Jaffe on that
We
one.
are almost at the part of the class where I calculate your grades and determine the winner of today's classroom prize. But before I do, I'd like to give you all one more chance to improve your grades in the form of extra credit.
Okay.
Do this.
So I'm going to give you an extra credit topic, and you're going to tell us something interesting that you know about this topic. Today's extra credit topic is American history.
Oh my god.
Excellent.
Jesse, you said excellent. Do you have a nice factoid about American history you'd like to share with the class?
Yes. Benjamin Franklin was in fact a ladies' man, and they had to actually have people like a security group follow him around in case he got too drunk and gave away revolutionary secrets to ladies who were actually spies.
Nice.
Yes. Let me tell you something. That key on the kite wasn't the only key to people's hearts.
Yeah,
The man was a lover.
Do you know what's funny? You know who's perfect for doing a Benjamin Franklin biopic right now is Chevy Chase. Did you see him at He looked like Benjamin Franklin. I was like, man, make it a positive, Chevy. You got another movie in you.
Now, Franklin also spent a lot of time in France.
Yes.
Which I think coincides with this hobby of his you brought up.
Oh, yeah.
He
makes
loved
sense.
horn, that Ben.
Well, Jesse, that's a very interesting fact. You've set quite a high bar for Melissa and Sean.
All right.
What factoids about American history do you have?
To amend Jesse's trivia, I would like to ask, what is the ailment that Playboy Benjamin Franklin suffered from for most of the latter quarter of his life? He suffered from it so badly that he once wrote a short play about it.
Whoa. That is actually.
He was an author on top of all that stuff.
Oh,
it
he
was a comedy.
He was a real Renaissance man.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say herpes, but I'm thinking.
I was assuming syphilis.
Crabs.
Can I say the answer?
Yes, what is the
yes.
answer?
Gout.
Gout.
Ah.
Gout.
He wrote a play where it was just him talking with his gout. And it's actually like really funny. I was like, man, he really was like that. He was an interesting cat, that guy. Man.
Oh, yes.
So, hey, aren't you going to run for president? Nah, I got this new thing, Gout. It's a great
Gout.
musical.
Yeah, the gout's
It's going to be a hit.
gonna
Yes.
keep me. I got the sugar foot.
Yeah. I told my manager to just cancel it.
And Melissa, surely you know something about American history.
I do a little bit. Well, I just had a fun fact to go. I don't want Ben Franklin to sound like a big old floozy. I think Pocahontas, was she not a prostitute?
Are you
Is that
asking
not
me
true?
or are you asserting this?
I am assertively asking. I think I was told that at one point. I'm not positive that it's true, but I like thinking that maybe I had a prostitute-themed birthday party. When I was
Well, I would say, for the purposes of your question, I'm certain that your birthday party was prostitute-themed.
Right.
Whatever was else
That's,
was going on.
well, that's
Whatever
almost
else was going-
unrelated. That's
Why were you singing "Blowing All the Colors of the Wind"?
Because I liked that remix.
I mean, although there was sort of like a direct-to-video sequel, the main Pocahontas film, which is about her in
Right.
the New World, and her land being invaded, as it were.
Right.
She actually spent most of the rest of her life in Europe,
Oh,
and that's how she became kind of a folk hero, talking to people in London and other parts of Europe.
And getting paid to have sex.
Well,
Her husband was
again,
Ralph something. I can't remember his name. Ralph.
Was this
Ralph
was this
Standish?
something I made up?
What?
Maybe I made this up. I don't think I made it up, but I think I was told at one point that she was a lady of the night.
I know when John Smith came to
Right.
the new land, she was like in her, not in her teens yet, but then when
Yes,
she went
she
over
was
to
young,
England,
like-
and she got
12, 13, 14 years old, something like that.
yeah, something like that.
And she and Smith were never properly married. I don't know what their friendship was, but I think he escorted her back to the New World as this
That's where the term escort
trophy.
came.
Yes,
Yeah.
actually. So she was the first escort.
Cool.
Look at John
And then-
Smith,
I knew it.
everybody! Stop it!
And then, of
John
course,
Smith
Sacagawea
getting
were
that
escorting
barely
people all
legal,
over.
Sacagawea was the best escort.
Course, yes.
Yes.
Oh, Sacagawea was a hoe? No, really?
Well, she was
She
escorted
escorted
Lewis
she
and
was-
Clark, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
She got a lot of attention.
All right. Well, thank you for your extra credit tidbits.
Oh,
We'll fact check them all later.
Of course.
But as I finished calculating your grades, I noticed that the student sitting on the right of me is a third-degree black belt wearing a gi. Therefore, he receives today's golden banana.
Yay!
Congratulations, Jesse Huber.
Jesse.
So it just remains for me to thank today's students, Jesse,
Thank you.
and Melissa.
Thank you.
And Sean.
I'll be back for that golden banana.
Me too.
You take it from me, Sean.
I ain't
for my
sitting
drink.
down.
You take it from me.
It's like the very beginning of like.
Gold Star Classroom is written and produced by Jerry Jaffe. Our producer and engineer is Stephen Gutierrez. Original music composed and produced by Jeff Geddert. Mr. Geddert is also our assistant producer. All commentary and opinions expressed by guests of Gold Star Classroom are meant for entertainment purposes only. For Gold Star Classroom, I'm Jerry Jaffe.